we knew him. Being his mother, I have quite a few things to say. Like Susie said, I have to really cut back because this young man was a handful. And he lived life in a hearty way. And so I want to just say these words. Arthur Durazo Jr. was born on September the 16th, 1955 at San Jose, California, to Arthur and Rebecca Durazo. The family lived in Oakland, California at the time of his birth, and then in 1959, we moved to Hayward. Art Jr. was a delight from the time he was born. He had deep dimples and a very charming smile. When I brought him home from the hospital, my mother-in-law saw his dimples and immediately she went and got 2 pillow pins and she put them, she taped them to his cheeks because she just knew that, this kid was really going to have some lovely dimples. And she wanted to help. And she wouldn't let me take them off for days. And until the day that she died, she claimed that he had those dimples because of the pinto beans that she put on his cheeks. He had a hearty laughter and a heart full of joy. As a baby and into his childhood, he was interested in everything and was unafraid. Everything he did was interesting to him, and he approached it wholeheartedly. And he had a lot of scars to prove it. This child was a real joy, but also a big handful. One day, I sent him to the store on his bike. The store was about 5 blocks away. There was no large intersections on the neighborhood streets. He was about 8 years old. On the way to the store, there was a city-owned creek that was cemented and used as a waterway during the rains. All summer it was dry, and it was fenced, and I didn't worry about him falling down into the creek. When he returned, he set down the bread on the table, and I noticed that his pockets were bulging and moving. I said, Art, what's in your pockets? And his eyes opened wide as I approached him because I went to see. And then before I got there, out of his pockets fall a bunch of pollywogs. I stopped dead in my tracks and I said, Art, can I keep them, Mommy, please? Can I keep them? Yes. I'm horrified. And after I composed myself, I told him he needed to put them in water someplace where they wouldn't die. And he promised that he would. A few days later, I went into his room to put some things in his closet. And when I opened the closet door, things started jumping up in me. And all around me, and up on my feet. And all around me, and I screamed. And it took me a minute to realize that these were little frogs. And they were all over the room now. And so I just shuddered and dropped the clothes and ran out of the room and closed the door behind me. When he came home, Mama had a few things to say to this boy. Well, he collected them all and released them all around the yard. And most of them found other homes, but we did have one that stayed and lasted for a long time. And that frog was a part of our life for a long, long time. Every year when we come out the front door, it would be ribbiting and ribbing, ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And so we learned to love that frog and to expect it to do its job every year until we moved from that home. I think Yvonne and Joe might have even had it while we left. My mom seemed to have a special place in her heart for Art, and she would call him Arturito. One day, Helen's younger boy, Ron, heard my mother call him Arturito, And she asked Helen, why does Grandma call Art R2D2? And so we all got a good laugh because he was referring to the Star Wars character, and he thought that that's what my mom was calling him. Thereafter, every time that Grandma would call Art, we weren't really sure whether she was saying Arturito or R2D2. So this was a subject for laughter each time. Anyway, Arturito, when he was about 11, we were at Lake Berryessa on vacation. And he got up early this one day and went fishing just down the slope and in a little cove that was there. Every so often he would come up to the campsite and would say, Dad, there's a big fish I'm trying to catch. And it keeps getting away. Keep trying, his dad would tell him. And this happened again and again. Finally, the last time he came, he said, Dad, this fish is really big. He goes like this. And and it broke my hook, he said. So Dad got up and went over to his tackle box. And he got the biggest hook that he could find. And then he gives it to me. He says, okay, go ahead. This one should do it. And so Art goes, and Yvonne tells him, gee, Art, aren't you a little young to start with the fish stories already? Little Art quickly defended himself and he says, it's not a fish story, Yvonne. Dad, it's not a fish story. Keep trying, mijo. That's it. And then, of course, there was laughter all around this campsite because there's 4 or 5 campsites around us over in Lake Berryessa, and they all had heard him coming and going and complaining about the fish all morning long. So this drew some laughter, and little Art goes back down, almost crying, with frustration because nobody believed him. And about a half hour later, you heard yelling from below, and he said, I caught it, I caught it, I caught it. And so we all ran down the whole campsite, and there he was with this big fish, and he had caught it. And the whole campsite came down, so everyone was oohing and eyeing about it. And he says to Yvonne, this is my fish story, Yvonne. And so he put it down for a minute, because it was heavy, and he put it on the ground, and we were talking to one another, and I'll be darned if that fish didn't start flipping and flopping and flipping and flopping, and it flopped itself all the way back into the water.
Oh no.
And so my son was horrified, and he just jumped in the water, and the fish went down, and he went down, deeper, and I couldn't see them anymore. So I was really worried, but then he popped up with his fish.
Yeah, it was on a hook still.
And I said, Leo, why did you do that? You really frightened me when you did that. He says, Mom, if I hadn't caught it, it really would have sounded like a fish story if I had to say, the big one I caught got away.
That's a great story.
While attending high school, he was attending Tennyson High School. He lettered in 3 sports, baseball, track, and wrestling. When he graduated, he was voted most likely to succeed by his class. He had 3 scholarship offers from various universities. My son decided to join the Air Force and complete that before going to college, and he also got married. He had a beautiful little girl named Marie, and later he had a son, Louis, followed by Monique and Rebecca. During his lifetime, he had his share of good times, as well as bumpy times. Some of the good things were that in 1990, he was baptized in the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
In this church. He was baptized by Brother Ruben Arellano Jr. In 1998, He went back to college for 2 years and earned a degree and certification as a counselor. Loved art, his profession, and worked at several centers to enrich his skills. He settled in a job working for the city of San Francisco as a counselor until 2016, when he was struck by severe vertigo and was unable to continue working. He also met Annie Jasty, who became his companion, and together they attended a church in San Leandro. They loved each other and were very happy together until the day he died. My son was my neighbor. Since he didn't work anymore, I kept him pretty busy in his spare time. Unless, of course, he was wobbling around from his vertigo. But I suspect that when this kid would see me coming, he would kind of start walking aside. Because he knew I had a list. There is evidence of his work and the pride that he took in doing it all over our yard that will be a constant reminder for me on a daily basis. He was very patient with me. I would scold him or give him a long to-do list of what I needed done. And he would just say, "Sure, Mom. Okay, Mom." 3 weeks ago, my son informed me that he had been diagnosed with a damaged liver and was instructed to see a gastroenterologist right away. He was in the process of finding a suitable doctor, but the Lord had other plans and called him home. Our junior is survived by 4 children: Marie Durazo, Louis Durazo, Monique, and Rebecca. He also has 11 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. Of course, his mother, 2 sisters, Yvonne and Susie, and many, many nieces and nephews, and cousins and cousins and cousins. Since that Wednesday when he died, my heart and soul weep. Although I may not understand why things happen the way they do in life, I do know my God. And I know that God knows why. And to him be the glory.
Amen.
I am very grateful to God for the time that my son was loaned to me. I will miss his disarming smile, our long conversations, texting me early in the morning or very late at night. When he'd get hungry, I guess he'd start to make pancakes or something. And he'd text me at 11 o'clock at night, "Mom, can I borrow some syrup?" Don't you ever sleep, Art? I'll miss him waving as he drove down the hill. But most of all, I will miss him saying, "I love you, Mom." Rest in peace, my son. I want you to know that it was my privilege to be your mother. My love for you will never, never die.